Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. The last video of 2024. How are we feeling? Are we bidding adieu to the year with fond memories, or are we like, whew, good riddance, bring on 2025? I think personally I'm a tiny mixture of both, but mostly this has been a wonderful year. I'm so grateful to every single peach who has supported this channel in some way, who's helped make the podcast what it is. That's been like the biggest project of 2024 for me. That and my music, more of which will be coming next year. I promise you. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been asking. I have been hustling, but apparently timing's everything or something. So yes, a kind little caressing cuddle to 2024 and bring on 2025. I hope you too have some things that you're super appreciative of and things that you're really looking forward to. But for now, for the final time of the year, it's time for us to go fishing for a-holes. Why? Because it's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of juicy drama. We can hopefully help a couple people out whilst expanding our own mindsets along the way. I swear, we need to make a theme tune out of that. All right, my peaches, are you ready to go fishing? A floop. Am I the drama? A dog approached my kid at Home Depot. Is it Depot or is it Depot? I feel like it's Depot. I, 35-year-old man, am working on a home project and I needed a few things from Home Depot. My kid is 2 and is my shadow right now. It's sweet and I love it. I took him to Home Depot to grab a few things. I was just grabbing some screws and a small specialty tool. My son was holding my hand as I was browsing. I was looking for what I needed, and the next thing I knew, there is a service dog, golden retriever, sniffing my son. I want to know how we know this is a service dog, because golden retrievers are absolutely service dogs. One of the best little puppies in my life is a golden retriever and a service dog. It was touching him, says OP. It had a vest and was leashed. Okay, so hang on a second. Did the vest say service dog? Did the harness say service dog? Was there something like a high-vis vest? Anyway, OP continues, not wanting the dog near my son, I removed it from my son's space as fast as possible. That sounds very conspicuous. How does one simply remove a dog? It's like when someone says, oh my god, there's a murderer chasing after me, and your friend's like, oh, I handled it. And you're like, handled it? And they're like, I handled it. What do you mean you removed it? Did you touch the dog? Did you remove your child? That would make more sense, right? I removed it from my son's space. If you removed the son, the squishy being that you're consensually allowed to touch, that would make more sense. Just stop talking, Shaaba, let's read on. The owner got pissed at me and told me to not touch his dog. So you did touch the dog. I told him to not let his approach my kid. I'm like, we're minding our own business and your dog came up to us. I'm honestly baffled this guy is mad at me. Let's keep reading. He says, what do you expect when you go to a dog-friendly place? I said, I expect to be left alone. We were at Home Depot. What was I saying? I don't remember anymore. We were at the DIY store, not a goddamn dog park. He called me an asshole and told me it was f***ed up to touch his dog in the manner that I did. This guy was a piece of shit, so I got out of there and circled back for what I needed a few minutes later. So, was I the drama? I'm kind of inclined to say yes, you are the drama. I would like some extra information. Let's go dig in a second, but beforehand, hear me out. It doesn't sound like the dog was doing anything, right? It was sniffing. Oh, it says here it was touching him. Okay, I mean, was it an angry touch? Because if the dog was just sniffing close, is that a problem? Like, I mean, dogs are cute. I don't understand. I mean, especially if the dog was leashed and vested, what did you think the dog was gonna do? And then you remove the dog, not your child. I think that's the odd thing about it. Like, also, how do you remove a golden retriever? Like, you can't just pick up a golden retriever. That's a pretty big dog. Even a young one, right? To move the dog. Did you like shove the little floof? Because if so, I too would be really mad. You don't start touching someone else's dog. No, you're definitely the drama. You don't touch someone else's dog without communication. If the dog was hurting the child, then you intervene. Again, by removing the child, right? That would be my first thought. Just, you know, in order to be most safe for the child and also for me. Move child, not dog. But there are many steps that happen before that, especially if the dog's not being aggressive, and that is to talk to the owner and be like, dude, don't let your dog touch my kid. Or, kid, come here. I don't want that dog touching you. You know, like, you don't just remove someone else's dog. Let's find out some more information about this whole remove thing. What does that mean? Ah, we have an info request. Somebody asked, this is an odd one because I removed it from my son's space is a very odd way to describe this encounter. You have a 2-year-old on the ground and you moved a golden retriever that sniffed him rather than just picking him up and rotating to put your body between the sniffing dog and your child. How did you move the dog? Did you yank on the leash? Did you kick it? Did you shove it? Did you scream at it? A golden retriever weighs 70 pounds. Gosh, these darn American systems, it will never stick in my head. 70 pounds in kilograms, 31 kilograms. That's like 3 times my cat. And yes, that is what I have in mind when I think golden retriever. They're big, bro. They are big, adorable floofs. Your 2-year-old weighs 25 to 30 pounds. I don't understand your reasoning in moving the dog. Do you have a severe dog phobia? This commenter also rightfully points out that the service dog shouldn't be touched or touched by people who are not their handlers. But they do make mistakes just like any other living thing. This is absolutely true. And PSA for anyone who didn't know, if you do see a little service dog out and about, don't like pet the dog and don't be like, oh, did we go to your body? Which is like my first instinctual thing to do whenever I see a cute little thing around. But you really shouldn't do that with service dogs. When they are on harness, they are working. They are not there to be pampered and petted and schmooshed. You can, of course, always ask the owner, is it okay? But then don't be offended if they're like, no, she's on duty, my love. We can't do that right now. A friend of mine who has a service dog shared the test that they go through. And there was this dog that nearly failed their test because they got too excited by leaves. You know, like the way they go floof, floof, floof in the wind and kind of like roll around. This dog was super intelligent and super well trained. But the leaves, they were too amazing, too magical. That dog still passed the test, but absolutely, mistakes can happen. They are still just a being after all. Opie actually responded about how they touched the dog and said, I hip checked it and pushed it with my hand while picking up my kid in one motion. Right, 1 second. Hey. No. You could have just gone. That would have been better. That would have been quicker. That would have made more sense. I don't see any world in which you had to touch this dog. You are the drama. That is my verdict. Gavel. Final answer. Let's see what other people have to say. Oh, not the drama. Service dogs are not supposed to be petted and such, but if it approaches your son, you have every right to take action. I mean, yeah, but also isn't context an incredibly important thing? Like, the dog just walked up to your son and was sniffing. Is smelling a crime? If I was also the height of a toddler that was walking around, that's probably got chocolate on his hands and God knows what else that's causing so many smells to a dog whose noses are like hundreds and hundreds of times more sensitive than our own, I would probably be curious too. Not the drama. I hope your child wasn't frightened. Look, I see where these comments are coming from in the sense that we need to protect the kid. I totally agree with that. But then just move the damn kid. Don't move the damn dog. You don't touch things that don't belong to you. You know what I mean? Like you don't do that. I disagree with these comments. With respect, no. Real service dogs are trained not to interact with anything that isn't the owner, so that fool was a fraud. With respect, I feel like I disagree with that too. After OP said they were in a vest and a leash, maybe it wasn't a service dog. Maybe it was a young service dog. Maybe it was a service dog that was having an off day. But you know what? Regardless of any of these potential maybes, I still don't think you should be touching that dog. Just touch your child. Move the child out of the way. It seems pretty simple to me. You are the drama, says another commenter. You move your kid, not the dog. You know when you start overthinking things because you're like, wow, no one else is doing this. No one else is doing what I'm doing. What does that mean? And then you see someone do what you do and you're like, ha 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 ha, ooh, I'm a normal human being. That is exactly how I felt in this moment until I saw this comment. Thank you, solidarity commenter. The fact that the guy said it was f***ed up to touch his dog in that manner, you did sound like you were overly aggressive about it. Yes, and I do think the fact that you hip checked a dog kind of shows that you were doing something that you didn't need to do, especially when you really, like you're saying, in one swoop motion you did that and like you still had access to your child. The dog was not in the way for you to grab the child, just grab the child. What do you think, Peaches? As always, you're very welcome to share your opinions below. Just remember to be kind. I know that conversations in the comments can get particularly spicy around pets, so be nice. Gentle, sit. Alright, phew. Am I the drama for staying in a hotel while my friend was trapped overnight inside the airport? This sounds like a horror plot. Oh, airports, they give me the heebie-jeebies. Airports, hospitals, the alleyways. They're into some places. You don't go unless you really have to, you know? So the idea of having to be there, being trapped in one, unless there's Tom Hanks building a gorgeous little piece of architecture in the background, I'm not doing it. No. My best friend and I, says OP, who is a 20-year-old woman, recently went on a trip to the UK. I don't know why I did that. I mean, sure, come visit, but I don't have that level of pride in my country. There's many things I should be apologizing for. Moving on. I actually have a UK passport, says OP, because my dad is British, but my friend had to get a UK visa. I'm seeing where this is going. We were supposed to take 2 flights. One would arrive in France and a connecting flight that would fly on to the UK. However, the second flight ended up being cancelled. The next flight available wasn't until 2 p.m. the next day, so we'd have to wait around 17 hours. Don't they normally put you in a hotel tell when that happens. It's not happened to me, but I'm pretty sure the airlines normally provide hotels. Let's read on. The passengers were allowed to stay in nearby hotels for free. Well, there you go. However, this didn't apply to people like my friend who weren't legally allowed to leave the airport because she didn't have a European visa. God damn it. I'm assuming that wouldn't have been the same if this was pre-Brexit because of the free movement of people. Either way though, this does not seem fair. This seems like a real flaw in the system if you're telling me that your friend is not able to have like accommodation to their needs but literally isn't allowed to leave a space that they are perfectly entitled to be in, but they can't be elsewhere. Then you need to make sure that that space is adequate for all of the needs that those people could be there for. Your friend is not the first and certainly will not be the last, right, person that this has happened to. So why do airports not have facilities to accommodate people who are in this kind of scenario? No, this is not okay. Instead, says OP, she had to stay within a specific area of the airport that had bright ceiling lights that would stay on 24/7. Migraine ensues. There was construction nearby. Oh my goodness. So there was this extremely loud drilling noise every so often. All the available seats were taken by other passengers, so my friend had to sleep on the floor. This is not okay. Plus, earlier that day, water got spilled on our phone chargers and her phone was only on 40%. No. Oh my gosh, every single element of that made it significantly worse. I'm shocked that airlines have processes that allow this to happen. That is absolutely ridiculous. Your friend is entitled to be there. They may not be entitled to be in the rest of the country, but they are entitled to be in that airport. They're supposed to be in that airport. They are paying money for a service. The airline are the ones that have messed up and not provided the service that your friend's allowed to be on. They have delayed. They need to provide the means to accommodate. I did not think that it would literally be on the floor or on the airport seats. I expected at least, some like roll-out mattresses of some kind. No, but seriously though, not having a phone, being in a foreign country, and is your friend a woman? I cannot tell you how scared that I would be right now. Truly, this is not okay. The second thing that I'm confused about is the fact that OP, who I'm assuming did go to the hotel, right, is like, oh, was I wrong for doing this? Is talking so honestly, describing the situation so honestly about how bad it is, and is still asking like, am I the drama? I don't know, maybe this last paragraph changes things. Let's see. I had the option to stay with her, says OP, but I chose to go to the hotel instead. She was furious with me, accusing me of being a fake friend. She told me that she was scared of being alone in a creepy unknown place, call yourself a friend, and want to be there to comfort her, and I assured her that I'll be back by the morning. Do you know what? I would not be so scared if I had my phone. If we could have called, I totally get it. I'd be like, hey, look, one of us has to have a crap back experience. You can go to the bed, that is fine. Bring me back some pillows, babe, that would be lovely. Hell, go out and buy me a freaking sleeping bag. Just because I can't go out doesn't mean that you can't go out and help bring back amenities that are useful for me. But if my friend was doing that, you better be sure that I would be on the phone with them the entire time. Buy a phone charger. Go out and buy your friend a phone charger. What? She said that I was acting selfish for not even spending one night with her, but I hadn't gotten any sleep in over 24 hours and I didn't see why both of us had to suffer. Am I the drama? Yes. You are the biggest drama. I'm sorry, I'm being a bit spicy. Yes, my love, you are the drama. And the reason being is because if you reverse the roles, that is a really scary place to be in. And I totally appreciate what you're saying about not having to have two people suffer. What is the point in both of you being backbreaking? But neither of you had to be backbreaking. You absolutely could have gone and bought something for your friend. Many things for your friends. You were there for 17 hours. No, you had holiday money, clearly, because you're going on a long haul trip. So budget's not an excuse. This is just mean. You're being self-centered, unless there's information here that you haven't provided on. And the reality is you did go and buy her things, but you just didn't want to stay there, in which case I would kind of understand, as long as you got her some noise-cancelling earplugs, a face mask to cover her eyes from those bright lights, something to protect her back from being on the frickin' floor, and a phone charger so that you can be right there, right next to her all the time. And if she's feeling creeped out, she knows that there's somebody there, and if something goes down that's in any way wrong, you know exactly where she is and exactly what to do. Call for help. Oh my goodness. Honestly, my heart is beating so fast, it's making me a little bit stressed out to just think about being in this scenario. I do think this was a really bad friend move. I wonder, and this isn't me being one of those people, I'm truly just curious because of how blasé and nonchalant OP seems about the situation. I wonder what the demographics of OP and friend are. Maybe OP is super well off. Maybe OP is white when the friend is a person of color. Maybe OP can really defend themselves. I don't know what could lead to someone not understanding the sensitivities of what the friend is going through. This just boggled my mind. Also, I don't think we've ever had an Am I the Drama episode where we've had two assholes back to back starting off. Oh, a scandal. Yes, you are the drama. That was a really really shitty thing to do. On a smaller scale, it reminds me of a friend who told me that she wanted to go to a certain touring Broadway show with her and how excited she was to see it with me. I couldn't afford the $300 seats that she wanted to buy, and I told her this but said that I could afford the $100 seats about 15 rows back. She just brushed me off and said, well, this is where I'm sitting, and then was very surprised Pikachu when I told her that she'd have to enjoy the show alone then. Honestly, this is exactly what I was trying to explore with the demographic comments. It may be that through means of class or through means of race or through means of any other aspect of intersectionality, the OP just lives a wonderfully, blissfully ignorant life where she's never had to be so concerned about safety. She's never been in a public situation where she's having to integrate for a long period of time with a whole bunch of strangers. She's never been in a situation where she's like, oh yeah, a floor. I see people do worse and I'm a celeb, get me out here, so how bad can it be? Having not actually slept on a floor. That is what this is giving. Good friend is not what this is giving. You are the drama 100%. I'm not sure why you'd think that you're not. I mean, say it again, louder. You left your friend, a young woman, alone in an airport in a foreign place. Yes, let's not forget this is a long haul flight, right? So I'm assuming you've come from the States, just because most of the posts on this forum are from the States, but it's a long haul flight that you've taken. Of course it's going to increase your anxiety like 10,000 fold. And God forbid your friend is a woman of color that you've left alone in an airport. There is a reason that I don't like airports. And no phone? In every single airport interaction that I've been to, bar one in my entire life, and I do a fair amount of traveling, all but one experience have I been discriminated against. And this is me, right? A woman. I don't have a beard. I have pink hair, so I'm not even like in hijabi or looking like not Western. As messed up as that sounds, I hope what I'm saying is coming through with the intentions that I mean it. My accent doesn't sound like I'm a foreigner. My passport is British. With all of these things, I have still been discriminated in really badly. In one of those situations, my passport was taken away from me and I was split up from the rest of the people that I was traveling with. I literally had a panic attack in the airport, and the only reason I was able to take that flight back is because I had my phone and I was able to call the loved one that I was with, who, because of their gigantic metaphorical balls, fought their way back through security in order to come and help me. If not, I genuinely do not think I would have gotten onto that flight. And the second time was when I was coming back from honeymoon. In a bizarre but kind of wonderful twist of events, our seats were broken, and so we were magically upgraded to first class. It was quite the experience. And coming off of first class, a police squad took me aside and started questioning me. Why? I don't know. What had I done wrong? No freaking clue. My white husband was standing next to me and they were like, sir, move along. This doesn't concern you. And he was like, that is my wife. And they were like, really? Even me just saying it, like, it doesn't sound real. They were genuinely like, really? And it was only by showing that we were sharing the suitcases, they were like, oh, well then I guess you're fine then, brown woman, because you happen to be traveling with white man. I'll stop interrogating you now. Like, this is the level of discrimination that still happens for people of color in airports, which is why I say, especially if your friend is a woman of color. I'm seething right now. I'm seething that you left her alone. Anyway, that was such a digression. You are selfish. It is one night, says the commenter. She told you she didn't feel safe, and if anything happened and her phone died, there would have been no way for her to contact anyone. At least you would have had each other, but she had to stay at a bright airport whilst you slept comfortably because you didn't see why you both had to suffer. I hope she has better friends, because what the f are you? I'm mad for her, not gonna lie. Me too. Me too. OP, I hope you can see why you're definitely the drama in this one. That's it. That's the strongest conviction that I've had all year. All right. Shall we do another? Floop. Am I the drama for charging my son's girlfriend maid money? What is maid money? What is this episode? My son is 17 and his girlfriend is 18. Her relationship with her parents is difficult and she has moved in with us. Twins. I can relate. She spent all of her time here for a while before my son officially asked if she could a couple weeks ago, and I allowed it. I've been on the fence, but I understand that her situation is difficult. Honestly, I don't know where this post is going, but for right now, brownie badge is to OP and to boyfriend. It is not a very easy thing, especially at the age of 17, to all of a sudden be living with your partner. It's also not a very usual thing, I think, to take in another teenager. It's really kind that you provided that support, hence the brownie badges. Let's read on. Now, I don't hate this girl, says OP. She's perfectly polite and she keeps her things tidy. However, she doesn't really help around the house. I have 2 daughters in addition to my son, and they both help with house chores. Wait, they both help? Does your son help with house chores? They help me out with cooking, says OP, doing the dishes, setting the table, sweeping, etc, etc, etc. My son's girlfriend has just not done that. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm processing as we read on. I asked that she helps out with chores once she settled in, and so 2 or 3 days after she officially moved in, there's not a lot of time to settle in, but sure, she's just cleaned the things that she leaves, basically. She does her own dishes, she makes sure not to leave a mess, but it's still not helping, really. I mean, she's net zeroing her output, right, is what you're saying. Like, she cleans up her mess, but I want her to clean up mine too. I mean, it's your house, you do have a right to ask for that. Does she have a right to comply? Does she have a right to have offered? What's thoughts? The inner people pleaser in me and the inner Asian, let's be real, I was just like, yeah, let me do everything. Where's the doormat? I must wipe my feet. This is the vibe. But not everyone's like that, and I especially feel like if she's going through a difficult situation that we don't know much about, her head may not be seeing this as a very positive move. It's not like she's just a guest coming over for a cute little holiday. You know, she's in a really volatile situation. She doesn't know if you're going to kick her out tomorrow. She doesn't know what's going on with her family. There's many things that could absolutely be affecting someone's ability to be a gracious guest, and I could totally understand OP being frustrated if she made a lot of mess and didn't clean that up, but she's cleaning up her own mess. It's just your additional mess. I told her, says OP, that we do a rotation for dishwashing, for example, and she says, oh, you don't need to do my dishes. I tried to be polite, but earlier today I finally told her that she needed to actually pull her weight, and there's more to house chores than not leaving your things spilled all over. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Because if everyone just did their things, there would be no house chores to do. You know, if you all clean the rooms that you used, the areas that you used, you wouldn't have to. I don't know, it's just something not sitting right within me, that especially considering the situation that she's in to be in your house, that you're like, no babe, you're like my daughters. That's also making me feel a bit uneasy, right? Like, is your son also doing the chores? Because that has not been clarified, and that's kind of icky if you're like, oh no, only the girls do the washing up. Let's read on. I told her that I expected her to help out tomorrow when we were doing the full house cleaning. She didn't just agree like I expected, but asked if my son would be participating. I want to know that too. I told her that no, he's staying in school for practice late and will be done by the time that he gets home. She said that she had things to do after school too and asked to help a different day. Okay. She didn't say no. She was like, okay, well, I'm busy as well. I will do the cleaning on a different time. Fair. That feels respectful. OP says, we always clean on Mondays and I'm not changing that for some girl that my son is dating, and I told her as such. I feel like maybe my brownie badge for mum was a little bit premature. She didn't tell me what she was busy with, but she's been here early the past 2 Mondays, so I'm sure that she can move whatever she needs to do to clean your house. You don't know what she's busy with. You don't know the volatility that she's dealing with. What if this is something to do with her family situation? I feel like I need a bit more context, but something is just not sitting right with how OP is doing this. Are we gonna have 3 assholes in a row? I don't think that's ever happened before. Finally, says OP, I told her that it's fine if she doesn't want to help out, but that she will have to pay a maid fee. Oh my god, I forgot about the maid money. That's what that means. As my daughters and I are not just cleaning for free when she lives here too. She didn't say anything afterwards, but my son got pretty mad about it when he found out. I don't think it's completely unreasonable. She doesn't want to clean? Fine, but she'll pay the cleaning service we provide. No, I'm so sorry. You're the drama. You are the drama, OP. You are the drama. Maybe I can see it from your point of view of like, well, you know, there's an extra person, there's extra mess. But there's no extra mess. She is still cleaning up her own stuff. What are you talking about? Like dusting, mopping the floor because there's one extra pair of feet that's dirtying it. You would still need to mop the floor, whether there was 4 or 5 of you or 6 of you, assuming that there is a dad in the picture. Yep, that's just clarified it in my brain. This is so wrong because you are still having to do the same amount of cleaning that you would have to do. She's dealing with some stuff. You don't know how long she's going to be there for, and maybe those are the boundaries that need to be set first. Like, you should have had that conversation initially where you were like, hey, if you're moving in, this is what needs to happen. You have to contribute towards XYZ. This is what I expect from you. This is what we will give you in return. And that's how this works out for everybody, right? Like, are you cooking for her? Does she know that you're cooking for her? Does she need to go and buy her own food? What about things like clothing? Are you washing her laundry? Is she washing her laundry? How many people are using the drying rack at one time? Does there need to be some form of schedule? What about the additional contribution of bills? Are you making her pay those? I assume not. Why? Because she's a student? Because she's having a hard time? So why a frickin' maid fee? And still, why? Why just the daughters? Oh no, son has practice. That's just coded for I'm living my life with very outdated gender norms, and that's just not okay in my book. No. She's tidying up after herself. You would still need to hoover. You would still need to dust regardless of whether she was there or not. So you carry on with your schedule and you leave her be. That's my verdict. That's it. I don't know why I'm using a gavel in this episode, but I kind of love it. Fight me for him. You are the drama for only expecting the girls to help. If Monday is a day that your son can't help with the chores, then either shift the day that you'll clean or pick some non-Monday chores that represent a similar amount of work for him to do. And to be fair, maybe that is what's happening. Perhaps he takes the bins out if we're going to go down a stereotypical route, but you totally need to clarify that in a post like this. And then also respect that girlfriend has offered on a different day. So don't be asking for money. No. You are the drama. She's coming from a difficult situation. Like, where is your compassion? I feel weird saying things like that though, because I'm also like, you literally have taken on this little street sewer rat into your house. But at the same time, there's a line. You are a mum. You're an adult. You have so much more lived experience than she does. You don't get to treat someone this way. And like, wood from the trees here. Do you know what I mean? She's making sure she is not an added burden. You want your daughters and your son's girlfriend to do the chores, but your darling son doesn't have to lift a finger. I'm so glad that people are reading OP on that, because that just did not feel right. You are the drama. I was with you to an extent until you said that the son's not participating in the full house clean. Interesting. It really seems that the son's addition or subtraction from the house chores is really what made up the forum's mind. For me, it was the audacity to ask for a fee when she is net zeroing her tidiness. She's getting rid of her plates. You don't need to wash up her plates. Why does she therefore need to wash others? And the fee. Cha. All right, friend, should we do one more? This submission is actually from a fellow Peach, the last Peach of the year. Thank you to everyone who has submitted this year. We will continue, of course, to answer as many as we can here in the Shaaba series of Am I the Dramas on the alternating weeks of the 1-800 Drama podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, you totally should. It's super fun. I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's great. And also in the new year on the 1-800 Drama pod Instagram too, because there's just so many to get through. If you have submitted, we haven't answered yet this year, bear with, hopefully we can. For now, Nervous Boy asks, am I a loser or is she the drama? Oh, sounds like it could be song lyrics. OP says, I love my boyfriend very much. I live with him. His parents live about half an hour away from us and mine live about 10 hours away. Okay, so that's quite a difference. I grew up in a boring place and worked all through high school. I had no expenses back then, so I saved up every cent that I earned, and I also saved up every bit of birthday, graduation, and academic award money in that time. Hustle. And I had my dad help me invest in mutual funds. Nervous boy? Wow. Brownie badge for you. Just listening to that made me exhausted. That's incredible. That takes a lot of determination. Please, oh please, I'm praying that this is not 4 assholes in a row. Show me potato salad. Well, I wound up with enough money to buy myself about 3 years without needing to work. That had been my plan all along. I'm taking this time to do cool stuff before going back into the workforce. Vibe. I love that for you. I've never really thought of that as like a sustainable model, but you do you. You're an adult. Sure. Cool. Well, says OP, I can't get my boyfriend's mother to understand this. She thinks that I'm just some loser, who does nothing and contributes nothing to my household with her son. It doesn't matter what I say to her, what he says to her, she just cannot hear that I'm doing art and making myself healthy, paying half of all of the expenses and doing all of the household chores. So you are still paying your expenses. But she's like, no, you're not doing anything because you're not out like 9 to 5. I mean, it's unconventional what you're doing, but if that's the way that you want to live your life, then that's the way that you want to live your life. This to me is no different to like freelancers who work on huge projects. I know people who are in project management, for example, who have like worked on a massive project for like typically 1 year or like 18 months and then they have 12 months off, right? Or like people who direct movies, they will work hardcore for like 4 years solid and then not do another movie in a very long time until they're like, yeah, you know what? I would like to start earning some money again. And that's a-okay. It's a very privileged position to be in, as well as, of course, acknowledging that you have also worked very hard. Both things can be true. Yeah, I don't understand the mum's problem. Boyfriend works away from home in a more traditional way, so I do everything that I can to make that as easy as I can on him. What really bothers me is that she's told me that it would be okay if I was a girl, but that a boy like me should work the way that her son does. Okay, you're not the drama. Yay! Thank you! Thank you for breaking the asshole train today. You are not the drama, my love. Mum here is clearly the drama. And honestly, mum, stay in your lane. Like, why do you feel like you even have a say? You are not contributing to this household. My real question here is, what does boyfriend think? Because at the end of the day, you are sharing a space, you are a partnership. So ultimately, whilst it is your life, there is also an element of compromise that comes from the relationship. I don't see how this should bother him in any way, but if it does, my point is this is a conversation that you should be having with him, certainly not his mother. OP says, sometimes I think I should, just to get her off my back, but do I really want to let her have that much power over me? I don't know. No, you absolutely shouldn't. Whether, and this would be a different scenario, you're like, although mother-in-law to be is very annoying, she's making me think about a world of work, and actually, alongside having my savings, I could also go into the workforce, whether it be part-time, full-time, temp, permanent, like whatever, and also be making additional money alongside, because that's something that I want to do. That's totally valid. If it's something that you want to do and she's inspired you, we're using that term really loosely, you know, her conversations have instigated those thoughts in your mind, that is the only reason that you should be doing that. Or, as I said before, if for whatever reason that boyfriend has a problem with it and it's a legitimate reason that you talk out and come to understand, you're like, okay, yeah, sure. But I honestly wouldn't be able to think about what that could be. What do you think, Peaches? For now though, my love, you've worked really, really hard for a while. And if you're like, hey, I've got 3 years to enjoy that, you've got a deadline. It's not like it's a permanent thing forever and you're never planning on working. Enjoy that play hard bit, babe. You did the work hard. You did the work hard. Fellow Peaches, if you too would like to help Nervous Boy, please feel free to do so downstairs in the comments. And to all of you, a very, very happy new year. However you're celebrating, I hope you bring it in with a smile, sending love for the final time of 2024. If you enjoyed this video, maybe consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you next time. And I'll catch you next year with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye. You can get emotional. Weird.